So welcome to the Confederate Monument here in Forsyth Park. It is actually no longer called the Confederate Monument. Um, the city council has changed it now to the Monument of the Civil War and to the Monument of the Civil War Dead, not the Confederate dead. The statue itself, it was created by a sculptor in Canada. There are two of them, and ironically, the only thing that differentiates this statue or this soldier, he's a sentinel or sentinel who is standing guard as he's watching, facing Sherman coming in to town. The only thing that makes him a Confederate is the fact that on his canteen it says CSS for the Confederate States. On the canteen of another copy of this Sentinel, it says USA for the Union soldiers. And so when this Confederate statue was built initially, there was no Confederate on top. It was actually an angel with its finger up to its mouth, whispering, hush, quiet, the dead are sleeping. And then outrageously below it, there was a engraphed relief that was put on the monument that said, "The South shall rise again." Now, this is in the 1870s. I think it was 1879. So you can imagine how the Union wasn't too keen on that. And so they made the city remove the angel whispering, and they put that instead in the Confederate cemetery at Laurel Grove. And so, which is quite beautiful actually, the statue itself. Now, supposedly underneath the statue or this monument, there's a letter from Robert E. Lee and some other memorabilia, but I think that's more folklore than anything else. Now, there are two busts of two famous Confederate officers, McLaw and Bartow, that adorn the north and the west part of the square. As you can see right here behind me, it's Colonel Bartow. He was one of the first Savannahans to die in the Civil War. It was a great big deal when he did pass, because he was very renowned and famous here in Savannah. These busts actually stood in what is now Wright Square. Chippewa Square. So these busts originally were in Chippewa Square, and then they were moved here. And so from here you can also notice throughout the park, Forsyth Park, notice the wonderful lamps. These are original whale oil lamps, and they're the only original ones in the whole city. So you'll notice that there's a little trap door underneath the lamp, and that's where you would remove a little cistern of whale oil that was about 6 inches high, and they would come and light it each night. So these are originals. If you're lucky, you can find one to purchase at an antique store. They cost about $6,000. So these are the original ones. The Forsyth Park itself predated Central Park by 7 years, and it was created to be able to do maneuvers. Confederate maneuvers, and troops would march around. Around the park, which is actually 1 square mile all the way around, and they would put up dummy forts and do different kinds of maneuvers in the park, Confederate maneuvers. The Confederate Army would also march around the Pulaski Monument prior to going to war. They felt that it was probably bring them good luck. So, welcome to the monument for the Civil War dead, and to Forsyth Park.